Hi there, it's BYFYN. How are you doing? Hope you're doing okay. Welcome to my home studio. Here we are. This video is going to be breaking down the production and how I wrote my song I Love Me Too. So without further ado, let's start. So I guess I may as well start off by saying that this song was quite different to the rest of the EP songs in that with the rest of them, I'd come into the studio and I'd kind of like been fiddling around on different synths and trying different presets, and those songs came out of that. They came out of me just, messing around with different things and finding a song out of them. Whereas with this song, it's something that kind of, the melody just like popped into my head when I was out and about, and I recorded it into my voice notes, which I'll play. Quite embarrassing, but the beginning of how this song started. I think I recorded this in Highbury and Islington Station, so you can hear quite a lot of crowd sound, but I just, an idea comes to you and you have to get it down.
Who's that? Who's that in the mirror? Was it you that stood here crying last time? Who's that? Who's that in the mirror? Can I see you smile and shine like the old times? I love you, but do I love me? I want to, but it's not that easy. And every time I look inside, I want to see me through your eyes, 'cause then maybe I'd see why I love you and you love me.
Okay, so that's actually really embarrassing because the singing is so bad, but I was literally walking somewhere in the tube and then it just popped into my head. And sometimes this happens, I'll just be sitting there and I'll be like, oh, the melody will just come into my head. And literally that recording was me just I'd already on the train, I'd been going over it being like, who's that in the mirror? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, it all came out, I've got to get this down to my phone. So yeah, I recorded it in that voice note in Highbury and Islington Station, and then from that I brought it into the studio and I was like, right, okay, now I've got to make it into a song. So where do I even start? At this point, we're going to go to my Ableton project now. So yes, here is my lovely Ableton project. Back when the song was called Do I Love Me instead of I Love Me Too. I think it sounds better as I Love Me Too. So yeah, I guess where I started off with this song would have been the synths, because I had the melody that was all ready to go. So I was like, okay, now I have to figure out what the chords are that accompany this melody. What are those chords? So I went to my trusty Strike Fet, my beautiful little synth over here, and I started mucking around playing different chords. As you can see, this is MIDI here, but I've got it muted because I recorded it to audio once I had it down. So I'll just solo this so we can listen to the pad sound that I came up with first. It's like the classic BYFYN pad sound, really. It's expansive, and big and beautiful, and quite a bit of reverb on there, which I've taken from the Strike Fet. It's got a lovely built-in reverb in it. And yeah, this is kind of what I started writing so that I could sing over it. Kind of what I figured out sounded good. And then I added another layer of the Strike Fet, a different preset on there, which I think is just, it's just beautiful. It's more of a vocal, kind of like a bit of a vocal sound to it, very 80s. But I think it's beautiful that. There it is. So yeah, the next thing that I added to it, the next synth, because there's quite a lot of different synths in this, is kind of classic BYFYN. Lots of different synths all layered on top of each other. I love that kind of expansive, massive sound that you can get if you just put a ton of synths on top of each other. I love it. Next thing I put on there was this M1 VST, which is a VST version of the classic Korg synth. I came across this because I was obsessing over George Clanton's production. And I was just his stuff sounds so good and so wavy and just it's just beautiful. And I wanted to find out what synths you've been using, and this one popped up. So I thought I'll download that and I'll have a go, see if there's any sounds on there that I like. And literally I was just like, oh, I love it. There's so many amazing sounds on here, and like just the presets are incredible. And you like, as you would like go through them, you can be like, oh my goodness, this was definitely used on that track back in the 80s, and this was used in that 90s house track. Like it's got all of the sounds on there. It's so good. So yeah, over the strike fit I then added this sound, which I just think is just heaven. It's the preset Universe, and yeah, it's just like epic, expansive, beautiful, angelic wonderfulness. So yeah, then obviously that's like kind of that, and the strike fest, like the opening of the track. Beautiful. Yeah, and they all get layered together for the pre-chorus, and yeah. So they're kind of like the pad sounds that I've got going on, and then took to the M1 again. This time, like I wanted to add something that was like proper, 80s sounding, and that gave like a bit of melody to the instrumentation. So I added these little wind chime like bell sounds, the synth bell sounds that you can hear, which is again from the M1. So I'll just play that for you. And they're kind of like punctuating the chord changes that are going on in the pad sounds. And then it gets, more complicated for the chorus, but just like, it's like driving it along. It's driving the whole track along and providing like that, dreamy kind of sound, which I just love. So that's that. The next sounds that I think I added were again for the M1. Because I just got obsessed with it. I was just so inspired by all the sounds on it. I was just going through. I was like, oh, these all sound amazing. And this was the next one. I think it was the string sounds. So they're like the pizzicato with my absolute favourite, the Valhalla vintage verb on it. So again, they're kind of like doing a quite similar thing to what the bells are doing. They're kind of like little plucks, just little accents here and there. And the pizzicato, that's also underneath the verse. You can hear with the... I'll try a little hard to get myself up. Yeah, so it's just kind of underneath there for those moments. So yeah, that ends up mimicking the kind of layered the vocals doing this. And then the pizzicato strings join in with it, which I just think sounds so I love it. I love it. And that again, comes back for the final bit, for the final part of the song. So yeah, they're kind of like giving those little accents, but then also like just adding some nice texture to the song, and mimicking the melody, which I really love when people do that. Like LCD Sound System do it a lot. They have like like the xylophone sound, which follows the melody whatever they're singing. I wish that we could talk about it, but that's the problem. And I just love that when that happens. So I wanted to do that in some way. So that's my version of it in this song. So I did realise that I missed one of the synths, because there was another layer of the synth, which was this M1 again. On the second chorus, I'd layered up all the different synth pads, and I think I'd got like the majority of the song together, and I was playing it through, and I was like, the second chorus needs to lift in some way, because I want the song to like develop as it goes, So I was like, what can I put in there that's gonna like lift that chorus so that it feels like we're getting somewhere different. The song is developing, because that's something that's really important to me, that the song develops and keeps on evolving. It's not just the same thing looped the whole way through. So I found this amazing sound, Dream Piano, and again added Centaurus to it. Which one have I got on this? I've got Warm Pad on this one. So I added this to it, to the chorus. So it's these like accents. Yeah. So you can hear it in there. And it provides that like lift as well into the bridge, when we go into the bridge section. Next, I think we probably ought to move on to the drums, quite an important part. So this kit's quite a simple kit. It's literally made up of these sounds. I've got a kick, I've got a snare, I've got a hi-hat, and I've got little tom drums for the fills, and then on a separate row I've got some claps. This drum kit, the most important part that I wanted to get out of the drums in this song, I wanted to include a gated snare, or gated reverb snare, because I've always been obsessed with that sound, and it's something that I wanted to get into a song, but I'd never kind of written the perfect song to have that sound for. And then when I wrote this song, I was like, oh, that'll be so good. So I'll just solo the snare for you. All of my drums, by the way, I've kind of find them on different like sample packs online and stuff. And I also have like some different drum machines and stuff that I'll sample and use them. But these ones were from lots of different collected sample packs over the years. So yeah, you can hear what this snare sounds like on its own. So, I mean, it sounds cool, but I was just like, this snare that I've got here is just going to be the foundation. So I was like, I need something that's like quite like high frequencies and like a quick attack and release. So yeah, I thought this would be the perfect snare to make into this gated snare. So I used the Valhalla Vintage Verb again. It's pretty much on like every track that I've ever used is this Valhalla reverb, because it's just amazing. And yeah, I just basically used this large gated snare to create this sound, which is, the most throwback 80s sound ever. It's like on Prince records, obviously. I don't know if it was him or Phil Collins who used it first. Someone tell me in the comments, but yeah, this sound, this gated snare sound is like, it's in loads of pop music even now. Like I know I've forgotten his name, but the producer from Bleachers, he did like Lord's album and stuff, Jack Antonoff, he uses gated snares a lot in all the production that he does for people. I know that he's put one into like Taylor Swift songs and everything, but it's 2 a.m. in your car. But yeah, anyway, so I was like, I need this gated snare because I just think it sounds so cool. So yeah, you can hear all the kit together. So very much 80s vibe. And yeah, it's quite a simple drum beat really, that kind of like I mix up putting the fills in, which come from the little tom drums that I've got. And this kind of is the main drum beat, and it changes once we get to the chorus. Just switching up those hi-hats make it more interesting. Yeah, so that's kind of that's the drums, that's what they're doing. This fill, I don't even know where I got it from, but this like rolling snare sound, it's from something. I think that it might be like a New Order song or something. Is it Blue Monday? I think it might be Blue Monday. But anyway, when I was like, oh, I want these fills to be like proper 80s. I was like, they get more and more like like rolling through with every transition. They're more, you can hear on this one, it's like, and then the final one's like so yeah, just building up every time. But yeah, I think I ripped that from New Order. Sorry, New Order. Nothing is completely original, let's just put out there. And yeah, the final part of this kit is the claps. So they just kind of like come in now and then, just as like that accent. I just think it's great for like a pop song to have those. those little moments here and there. You know, just makes it fun, and they're all over the place in the final chorus. They just keep on coming in. Yeah, I kind of like thought that was like a nice little touch. It's like, you know, a bit like disco vibes, isn't it? And yeah, just adds something, even though it's like a fake clap. I think it adds a bit of like humanity to the drum sounds. Yeah, so that's the drums. And the final part of this production was the bass. So I think I started off with this one, which is using the plugin. Yeah, this plugin, which is amazing. This Arturia Analog 3. It's literally like, you can see it's just endless synth sounds. Like you can get fully lost in there. It can be a bit of a black hole, to be honest. But yeah, I found this bass sound, which is kind of like, it's kind of like a classic BYFYN bass, really. It's like fat and there's like a bit of grit in there. And I added this Centaurus plugin, which is D16. They're amazing. I love this plugin so much. I use it on so much. It's like a chorus plugin, and basically it just thickens out the sound so much. I'll take it off. It still sounds good, you know. But then if you add the Centaurus, yeah, I just think it like thickens it out, and it kind of makes it sound more like a you know, an analog synth instead of like a VST plugin, I think, in my humble opinion. And some hilarious basic EQ there. Now I just took off the high end, the like top of it, because you can see, because I added another layer to it, because I was like, it sounds good, but like I feel like it needs something more to it that like kind of, I guess, can interplay with the drums more. So I ended up adding this to it. Yes, it's kind of like a bit of like a, I guess it's like a bell sound in a way, like a bass bell. And then I wanted it to have some kind of drive and momentum to it. So I added this Centaurus plugin again, but this time I used one of their like synchronized presets, which basically it's like, you know, it's got like an LFO on it. So I'll play it to you. So you can see it's like giving it that rhythm, which then if you add, oh yeah, of course, and I have some, I have some vintage, Valhalla vintage verb on it again, just to make it feel expansive and beautiful. So yeah, if you hear those together, this is the new bass sound. Yeah. It just sounds so much better, and it helps to drive forward with the drums. Yeah, so that's pretty much every single part of the track, but that wasn't the end of it. No, there was one more M1 sound. Of course there was. So on the bridge section, I wanted there to be like some sort of instrumental solo. Didn't know what I wanted it to be, and then I was like, oh my god, wouldn't it be so great if we could have a guitar solo? Yes, but I don't play guitar, and so I had to think of a way to create that sound instead. So on the M1, I was like, oh my goodness, there's this sound called rock and roll. So I had a little play on my MIDI keyboard using the pitch bend, and I'll just turn those off, those plugins, and this was the dry preset sound. So yeah, I was like, that sounds great, but it can sound better. So I added this plugin, which again is another D16 one, and this one's like a distortion unit one. So I added the guitar tube amp, and it sounded like this. And then of course, because it's this 80s throwback song, you know, I wanted it to be epic. And I think this, the addition of this Valhalla reverb really does that for it. So yeah. And there you have it, my fake guitar solo for the bridge, which comes again at the end. Just lifting everything for the final moment. And one day I'll learn guitar and be able to play it on a guitar. This, I'm just going to say that this was the, I guess it's like the demo version of the track. So what I'm showing you here is kind of like the first iteration. The production, you know, every single part of the production is here, but this was kind of just the beginning. So then I bounced all the stems down and then sent it over to Hoya, who mixed it for me. And every time he mixes my tracks for me, he always adds like little bits here and there of like additional production, just like, you know, making a transition sound even better and just adding his touch to it, which I love because he knows me so well. So yeah, that's kind of like the main instrumental of the whole song. That was all built around this melody that just popped into my head, the original idea, and I just layer it up, and then, you know, the kind of arrangement comes with, you know, taking this synth part out at this point, adding another layer of synth in, you know, stripping down the drums right to a hi-hat at one point and stuff like that. Like, it kind of, that's where the arrangement comes. You know, the production is just layering loads of things, everything that I can put in there, I'll just stick it all in there, and then I'll say, right, okay, well, this is like the densest part, but for the arrangement now I'm going to have to strip back bits and add them and whatever to kind of create the song. So yeah, and then I, you know, the as I said, it's a demo, so the vocals that I had down here were ones that I'd recorded in here on this microphone, and I just got them down as a guide, and then I went and re-recorded them at Hackney Road Studios, which was amazing. It was so much fun, and you know, it was mainly to get that next level sound. I wanted it to sound just like, which I think it really does now. So yeah, that is the track. That is I Love Me Too. I hope you've really enjoyed this video and seen how, you know, this track was created, and maybe it can inspire you guys to make music wherever you are. You know, got a laptop, get some software, start making music. It's, you know, good time to do it right now whilst there's so much craziness going on in the world. And yeah, if you've got any questions for me, then just, you know, comment below. And if you'd like me to do this for any of my other songs, then please do let me know. And yeah, keep streaming my EP In Blue with you, please. And yes, till next time.